What up, though? I'm about to come through real quick, man, because it's day after Christmas, New Year's coming, and it's some information that I just want to basically want to get out. Never really heard too many people talking about it, so basically I want to talk about the origins of Christmas and New Year's. I came across some information and in the book Black Genesis, where he talks about that basically the rising of the Sirius star in ancient Egypt, and even before ancient Egypt, the rising of the Sirius star was an indication of the flooding of the Nile. And the Africans at that time, they depended very heavily on the flooding of the Nile to bring forth the crops. So when the Sirius star rose, what they call the Sirius star now, when that star rose, it was the indication of the flooding of the Nile. And basically that marked the new year. They started their yearly cycle from the flooding of the Nile and the rising of the star. So basically what they did was their year and their seasons, they had 3 seasons that corresponded with basically the crop cycle. It was 3 seasons, and it was 10-day weeks, and it was 4 months in the season. So they had 360 days in a year. But with the extra 5 days, with these last 5 days, they celebrated 5 netures. Netures is divine principles, aspects of what you would call the creator of all things. So, they celebrated the last 5 days. Each day was dedicated to a certain nature. And so basically they used to celebrate it in the beginning of the year, but what they began to notice because of the what is it called, the equinoxes, I keep wanting to say perception because of the because of the precession of the equinoxes. Because of that, because they noticed that the periods was changing over time, because the earth was moving farther away from the sun as time progressed. So instead of celebrating it in the beginning of the year as the first month of the year, they moved that celebration to the last month of the year. You understand what I'm saying? They moved that celebration to the last month of the year, and and then the last month of the year, then you got the 5 the 5 netures. Each neture get designated to a certain day or whatever. And Isis was directly associated with the Sirius star. And when Isis rose, when the Sirius star, which was dedicated to Isis or directly connected to Isis, when she rose, it gave to the flooding of the Nile, which was a symbolism of giving birth to Heru or Horus, from Isis or Aset. You understand what I'm saying? So you can see the great connection to Christianity and Christmas when you look at this situation, what was taking place back in the day, way back in the day. You feel what I'm saying? So so all of this is, it's African, it's ancient Kemet. Christmas is African, it's ancient Kemet. It's just been repackaged, reformed, renamed, but you know, you can see where this stuff come from. You understand what I'm saying? And I think it's powerful, especially as it pertains to black people, to understand that, you know, your ancestors gave rise to this. They, you know, they brought forth the calendar. They brought forth the weeks and the months, and the naming of the days, and the naming of the months. You understand what I'm saying? And the first calendar and all of that. You know, they brought that forth, you know. And real quick, I gotta go, but another thing I want to touch on is when you're dealing with Christmas is the Christ aspect. And the Christ aspect, when you look into the esoteric science of it, the Christ aspect is becoming Christ mentally. Okay? It's becoming Christ mentally. You have some glands inside of your brain. The pituitary gland, the pineal gland, okay, then you got the optic thalamus. Okay, so basically what happens is that these pituitary glands secrete oils, okay, and the pituitary gland secretes a white oil, and the pineal gland secretes a yellow or a golden oil. Okay, so this is the anointment of the oil. Okay, so basically, like every month in human beings, what takes place is a seed that takes place from the claustrum. It's an area in the brain called the claustrum. This is where they get Santa Claus, because the claustrum seed comes down to your stomach, okay, and it goes down to your stomach, and if you don't ruin the seed, it comes back up and goes to the brain and goes to the glands, and they secrete the oils, and that's the Christ consciousness. Okay, so that's where the whole thing from Santa Claus came from. It came from the claustrum inside of the brain, and it you know, and it goes down, and it travels down and produces the seed. Okay, it produces the seed in the belly, and the way that you ruin the seed is through lower nature things like sexual deviances, overeating, anger, hatred, you know, any ill type emotional things that kills the seed. It ruins the seed. And if you ruin that seed gets demolished. It gets ate up by like symbolically you could say a beast, or you know, the seed gets ruined. But if you cultivate that seed and you don't do any of these ill things such as overeating or sexual deviances, and you know, keeping a balanced emotional state, and just not, you know, giving in to the lower natures, mastering your lower nature, that seed rises back up to, you know, to the pituitary gland and to the pineal gland, and it secretes the oils. It secretes the oils, you know, inside of your mind, and you become anointed, and that's the Christ consciousness. And every time this happens, and if you keep on cultivating that seed, it gets greater and greater and greater, and the person becomes fully illuminated. That's why you see the angels or Jesus with the halos and the suns around their head, because that symbolizes, you know, that symbolizes enlightenment. You know, that symbolizes enlightenment. That's the open pineal gland. You know what I mean? That's the third eye. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and if you study the Kundalini, you understand about the third eye and the crown chakra situation. You understand all of that. So I can come through with some more information on that. I'm just coming off the top of the head. I basically have to really put more into it, and to bring this a little better, you know, if I'm gonna be giving out information such as this. You understand what I'm saying? And another thing I want to say about the tree before I go is that's why you see the star at the top of the tree, because the tree symbolizes the tree of life. You understand what I'm saying? Or your spinal column, which is where the Kundalini or the chakra energies a line upside the up the column. That's why you have the reeds going around to the tree connected to the ornaments, or them like real them balls that be on the trees, them ornaments. You understand? That's why the reeds is connected to the balls, because that's symbolizing the Kundalini energy traveling up the spine, connecting to the different energy centers, traveling up to the pineal gland with the star at the top that symbolizes the Christ consciousness. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure y'all all know about the medical, like when you go to the hospital, if you see on the ambulance truck, they have like a stick with the snakes twirling around the stick. That's the Kundalini energy traveling up the spine. That's them two snakes is symbolizing the Kundalini energy that travels up your spine all through your body. And if you balance, it can move through each chakra system without being stopped or knotted or getting caught, and it can travel, and the energy is moving freely all through your body, and it rises to your brain, and that's where you get that enlightenment. You understand what I'm saying? Everything is functioning the way it should be inside one's body by mastering their lower natures and being in tune with their self. You understand what I'm saying? So that's it. That's all I wanted to bring. I just wanted to get that out. So I'll be coming through with more information, put together a little bit better. You understand what I'm saying? So until then, keep it 100.